Severe avoidants don't just avoid emotional intimacy, they avoid accountability too. And one of the best ways to avoid accountability is by consistently gaslighting your partner. Accountability is painful for an avoidant. It means they have to self-reflect. In order to take accountability for anything, you have to actually analyze yourself and see why you behave or feel in a certain way. You have to face your feelings, face your emotions. You have to see where you've gone right, see where you've gone wrong. Take accountability. That's painful. So the avoidant needs to find ways to deflect the blame. For example, when they pull away and don't communicate and disappear for days, they'll tell you that it's because you're too needy. When they break up with you out of the blue, when they discard you, they will try to make it seem as if they're doing you a favor, that things were not as emotionally close as you thought they were, or they're just not feeling the spark. And just the day before, they were telling you how much they were into you. This kind of gaslighting will make you feel like you are going crazy. It'll have you second-guessing your reality, wondering if your perception of events is even accurate at all. This plays into anxiety. The person that is being gaslit will feel more and more and more anxious, but the avoidant, they get to avoid accountability. Narcissists are also expert gaslighters. They can't take any accountability either, so they will make sure to sow seeds of doubt into their partner's mind so they can avoid accountability. The reason why severely insecure people like avoidants and narcissists like to avoid accountability is because any criticism, any fault, any failure on their part becomes all-encompassing. They can't just say, oh, I made a mistake here, I'll do better. Taking ownership of any kind of mistake means that they are a failure as a whole. It means they're dumb. It means they're a failure. It means they're a bad person because they assign an all-encompassing meaning to it. That is why severely insecure people are fragile and struggle to take accountability. Because that bigger meaning they assign means that in their mind that they are a failure if they take accountability. So they don't want to do it. And the easiest way is to deflect, which is to gaslight. You plant seeds of doubt into your partner's mind, make them question themselves, make them question their reality. And if they're questioning their reality, it's easier to manipulate this person and convince them that chain of events didn't really happen the way they perceived it. And if this person falls for it, it's easier to avoid accountability on your end. For example, if the avoidant does something that's not kind or not considerate, let's say they just disappear for days, and you get upset about it. Well, your reaction's the problem. Not what they did, it's your reaction. And you'll end up apologizing for your reaction to what they did, and they never take accountability for what they did that upset you to begin with. Gaslighting is actually considered to be psychological abuse. It's actually used in psychological warfare. It is very difficult and very anxiety-making to endure. So if you are being routinely gaslit, it's important to take a step back, remind yourself that you do have an accurate perception of reality, that you're not going crazy. Try to view everything from a 30,000-foot view and understand that this person's behavior is not good, it's not healthy, and gaslighting is toxic. Do not blame yourself for somebody else's behavior. Do not take ownership of that because you can't make anybody do anything, you can't make them feel anything, and you certainly can't make them behave in healthy ways. But if you are blaming yourself, if you're falling for the gaslighting, that is how you become a more and more anxious person that is filled with self-doubt. Your boundaries will help protect you from gaslighting too. It's important to hold and enforce healthy boundaries, meaning what you will and will not tolerate, what you want, don't want, what you need and don't need. Because people that hold healthy boundaries will not be in long-term relationships with people that are toxic, people that are gaslighters. And people like avoidants and narcissists are expert gaslighters. Now, the narcissist and the avoidant, they have different intentions. Both of them are trying to avoid accountability. The avoidant is not necessarily trying to hurt you, but they're not exactly going out of their way to not hurt you either. The narcissist, however, can actually be malicious and intend to hurt you. There is a difference in intent. But either way, it's still abusive to the person being gaslit. It's still unfair to the person being gaslit. And the person being gaslit is still suffering psychological abuse regardless of the intent of the gaslighter.